All week long we've been bringing live streams with some of the Canon ambassadors and getting hands-on with the kit here on the Canon booth, and right now I'm delighted to be joined by someone whose talk absolutely captivated me and the audience here over the last couple of days. It is action sports photographer Richard Walch. Richard, thank you very much for joining us. Action sports photographer, you've been to some of the most extreme places in the world, taking cameras there. What's the most extreme place you've put your camera through?
David, I'm a lucky boy because I get to go to all these places where people go for vacation. And my wish was always to go to Alaska, and to Haines, Alaska to be specific, because that's the most extreme free riding you can find in the world. The reason why, because it's so steep, when you look down, you don't see the bottom of the run. The snow has a stability to stick on almost vertical walls, and it's like the dream for every free rider.
And so why was that so challenging from a camera point of view? What situations were you putting that camera in that were challenging it and also challenging you?
Well, it's the pressure from the riders, because it's the highlight of their career. They were being in Alaska for 4 weeks. They spend about 20,000 euros each on these shoots, which means they get to do maybe 10 to 15 runs. So the pressure is on, and you as a photographer, you can't really, not get the shot. So I was using a 1DX Mark II, actually 2 cameras, one in my hand shooting out of the helicopter, and a second one triggered by a remote control on the bottom to get, double angle. And the trick is the helicopter is steered by the cameraman because he's the number one. So you're the number 2. You don't know how close he will go and what angle he will pick, but you have to adapt with your camera, and there's no time to change the lens.
And I have to say, I saw, using that system, one of the most extreme selfies I think I ever saw of you in a helicopter. Just a little pinprick over there, shuttered by the remote there. In the talk that you've been giving here on the stage here, on the photography, the spotlight stage here, you're talking about choosing the right camera, and more than any other photographer here that I've spoken to, you use cameras throughout the Canon range, starting off with the M5 and M50, and a really surprising shot that you took and that you start your presentation with. What is it you like about the smaller camera there?
I have to admit I'm a geek when it comes to technology, so being an ambassador is perfect because you get to play with all these great products. And what I'm really pathetic about is like choosing the right equipment for the shoot I'm going into. Because what I've had to learn is once I'm out there on the ocean or in the mountains, there's no way back. And that means failure. So I'm really pathetic about packing my backpack and getting my gear ready. So when it's on, it's on. Now, luckily, sometimes I can go on a vacation and then I don't want to bring my huge backpack and all that gear. And that's when the EOS M5 or M50 comes into play, because it's the smallest, lightest, but still a powerful package to bring on a journey.
Okay, and another shot that really captivated me was a catamaran at night. And you'd managed to light that in the most technical way that kind of blew my mind. So talk me through how you got that shot of the catamaran.
Yeah, it was a shoot for a car company out of Ingolstadt. Their claim is Vorsprung durch Technik, so I had to step up with that, live up that, the promise, and really push myself. So picture a catamaran that's on foils, which means he lifts up and then he goes about 40 kilometers over the water, which is really fast. It's F fast. So I'm in this tiny rubber boat trying to keep up with it next to it, really bumpy. And the concept for the shoot was to use flashes, but a speedlight flash is not powerful enough to give enough power over like 20 meters over the water. So I used both concepts. I had the speedlights put on the boat so they would light up the faces of the sailors, and I used Profoto B1s on my boat and on the other boat to kind of have a cross light. And then imagine it's 4:30 in the morning, we're going like 40 kilometers over the water, and I'm remotely triggering both flash systems, getting the sunrise moment, boom.
Did you construct this all in your head, then go out and execute it straight away, or did you have some trial runs and prototypes before you arrived at this model?
Well, I'm experimenting with flash photography on the water over years. So this is now I combine 2 shooting methods, which means an off-camera flash and an on-camera flash, and that was the most tech I've ever done it. And luckily I got away with the shots. I'm an adrenaline guy in that way, that I kind of like to push my photography to where it gets technical and there's a room for failure, but I can't have a failure because it's a professional job. But that's where I get my stoke from, and that's what my adrenaline, and that's why I'm really still passionate after over 25 years doing this.
And finally, on to a project that you've been showcasing here with the EOS R system. And I want to talk about the slack line, some guy walking across an impossible depth there. You were able to get up close and personal in a way that perhaps you wouldn't have been able to do with your 1DX, really in this guy's face. Tell me about that experience, the different way of capturing humans on the edge, literally on the edge.
Yeah, Alexander is the world's best slackliner, so he's a true artist in what he does. Now, what's the most interesting moment for a portrait is when he prepares in his mind for a stunt, and that's what all professional athletes have in common, is that they visualize their stunt. So if you picture a ski race, you see the guys on the start doing like this. In their mind, they're racing down the mountain. So Alex is doing the same. He's finding his Zen moment to concentrate for his stunt. Very beautiful moment. Now, I have to be like this close, which is, he would hear the click, it would destroy his concentration, he would lose the focus, and maybe we lose the picture of the stunt, maybe up to his life. Now with EOS R, you can put it in the silent mode, and silent means not a tiny little noise, it means no noise, complete silent. The only way you understand you've taken a picture is a white frame around your image popping up. So I was able to shoot this image of him without disturbing him, and it's just a highlight element in the story.
It's a great image, and you can see it on display here in the print gallery at the Canon booth at Photokina 2018. Richard, we'll let you get back to the stage because I know you've got lots more talks, lots more conversations to have, but thank you very much for now, for your time. If you want to see more of Richard, then make your way here to the Canon booth. We'll be here until the end of play on Saturday, so stay tuned here at Canon Events, and yeah, we'll see you later.
Thank you.